Good morning, this is Dawn, and welcome to Life Daily with Dawn. I'm leading a series called Diamond Dimensions, where we're talking about the 12 facets of change and how we will be changed forever in the passage through the next 7 years, the period of 2020 through 2027. These 12 patterns of potential are gateways to our collective soul story, and they will support us in the creation of a new society. So today we are looking at what will be our collective focus in the year of 2025, so 5 years out. And the soul wonder that is aligned with this particular gateway is passion. The gate of connection is what we will pass through together. And that will lead us into the creation of systems and structures that will be more supportive as we move forward. Keywords are sophistication, synergy, sustenance, simplicity. So let's take a look. Our C symbol today is called the dancing star, and it is number 11 of the 12 C symbols. So 2025 is an invitation to the radical reclamation of passion, the 6 of 7 wonders of the soul. And this passage is all about stepping into the radiant realization of who we are individually and collectively through a deep and authentic connection with the soul and essence of who we are as one people. So this year will be about truly living as a society with passion and joy. So no more will we be content just to go through the motions and cycle around and around and around and simply tolerate society. So key questions are, how will we find new enthusiasm for our own lives, in our closest relationships, within community, and then for the whole of humanity? Also, how will we become the dancing star? How will we come to life and live in full expression? So when I look at this C symbol, C is an acronym for Soul Essence Art, and this is one of the 12 Diamond Dimensions symbols that I was given. First of all, it is incredibly aligned with this idea of a dancing star. It feels like the entire image itself is pulsing or dancing. And when I looked at it, what I wrote down was that true passion is cultivated as we raise our energy to a level of simplicity that brings, ironically, a greater sophistication to our society. Together we tap into synergy and find our sustenance as we come to life and live in full expression. So let's explore some of the qualities of systems and structures that we might co-create as we move forward together, as we pass through this gate of connection. And that is one of the 7 gates of transformation in the next 7 years. So what will the systems and structures that will best support us look like? And how can we ensure that passion is one of the wonders that we are really tapping in our new society, in this new era rich in love? So when I look at the whole of this C symbol, there's a real emphasis on vibrancy, and the idea of life and living in full expression, and that happening throughout the system, and particularly at the points of connection with the sector of society served. So those outer edges. And if you look really carefully, it's like the more you look, the more you see there. Like at first I was like, oh, it's like a little fox-like creature. And then I was like, oh, it's a woman dancing and throwing her hair back. And then I saw like this little horse figure. And you may see things that I don't even see. And then there were birds. And so it's like whatever you see, there's so much life there. It's like it's at the core, and it's expressed uniquely at the edges of the system. And so there's a real emphasis again on full and free expression of, at the outer edges of the system. So as a presence in society. And one of the things that occurs to me is many of the larger systems in particular that have been in existence for some time, there's a lifelessness about them. It's very regimented and controlled, and yeah, it's the opposite of free expression in many ways. And so this would be really exciting to see in the systems and structures that we create moving forward, is this level of freedom and full expression that is aligned with the system's core vision, mission, and values. Because as you notice, this is it's a one color, they're all one color, black and white C symbols, but there is a continuity of service, and yet this freedom and expression that's happening throughout the system. So that's the first quality. Another thing that I see here is going back to the center, which has been in all of these C symbols, but they're all unique. It's really interesting to go back and look how each one has its own quality, and this one in particular is glowing, and it's all about the light and the vibrant core of the system itself. And so there's a clear awareness of the true source of passionate expression in and throughout the system as being the very nature of who we are as human beings who choose to express the fullness of who we are and share our fine gifts of original design, those that were entrusted to us through service to humanity in this particular way, through a particular vehicle that is the system or the structure or the organization. So that clear awareness of the true source of expression is held by all within the system. So that's really special, isn't it? Like that's not, even in organizations where there is a clear vision and mission. My background is marketing, so I definitely, and I've worked quite a bit with nonprofits, so I definitely understand how this shifts things for organizations. But even in the best of those organizations where there is an absolute buy-in to the core vision, mission, and values, there's often like somehow a slight disconnect, and it's all like, again, it leads to this sort of rigidity in a way that it kind of falls short. And I think this is what it is. It is what the missing link is all about, this understanding that the system itself, the vision, mission, and values of a system, an organization, a structure, comes from a deeper source, a deeper wellspring of life. And so this is the biggest invitation of all, I think, in all of these gateways that we will pass through together. And as we move to the creation of a new society and step into a new era rich in love, it's all about an awareness of what collectively has been entrusted to, or what has been entrusted to us collectively as one humanity, and that each system and structure and organization is seeking to express uniquely that those qualities and reconnect. The true service is about a reconnection to a particular group or audience or sector of society. The reconnection for those people to that light and life and love that is our birthright, and freedom, really, because it's really about truth and freedom as well, because that's what happens when you're connected to the life you are, to the light you are, to the love you are. That's what happens within individuals and groups. There is a greater expression, and yet also, while there's all this unique expression going on, there's also a simplicity and an awareness of the divine design, the design of the entire, the whole, the patterns of potential that are at play. And that word is the next thing I want to talk about. There is, suggested by this C symbol, dancing star is the name of it, if I didn't say that. And it's all about passion, and there is the sense of a free spirit, free-spiritedness, a spirit of play and curiosity that supports the exploration of new patterns of potential in and through the system, and then the full expression as we talked about. So that spirit of play and curiosity it's in all areas of, there's a continuity of that. Again, the spirit of play and curiosity and a freedom that is very evident in this particular C symbol. In addition, there is an air of lightness, I would say. There is, I believe that what this C symbol is saying to us is that lightness and that flexibility, that freedom is the result of an understanding of and an embracing of the changing nature of all life, which inherently includes a celebration of change as opportunity, not threat, within the system or structure. Very often, I think systems and structures have seen change, interior or exterior change in society at large, change within the system as the enemy. And so it's perceived as a threat, and therefore it leads to all sorts of a lockdown, interestingly, within the system. And rather, if we choose a path of seeing that change as the nature aligned with the nature of life and a gift that's there for us, and if we look for the gift with that spirit of play and curiosity, and we celebrate the change as opportunity, even when we don't know what the opportunity is yet, we look for the surprise. We look for the surprise within the system, within the structure, and we come to life in the midst of the change. We be with it. We be with it, meaning we return to the core of who we are individually and collectively within the system, and then collectively as a society, and collectively as a humanity that is an expression of life itself. And if we return to that in the midst of uncertain times, in the midst of changes, in the midst of what we perceive to be a crisis, which may in fact be a crisis, and we continually connect to the stream of light and life and love that runs throughout all of humanity, and through the vessel of our bodies, and the vessel of the body that is the system or the structure. And if we focus on that in the midst of challenge and change and crisis, then there will be, and we manage to celebrate that we are in process. There will be such gifts that emerge from that, and there will be that dancing star will emerge. The name of this C symbol, dancing star, comes from a quote by Friedrich Nietzsche, which says, to give birth to a dancing star, there must be chaos within, or from chaos within, the birth of a dancing star. And so this perceived chaos and crisis and challenge, and the conundrum of what to do next, is actually our being present to that is a part of the process that gives birth to the dancing star, that leads to the full fruition of passion in our lives and in the systems and structures that we create. And that passion is a connection point to life for all, in particular for the sector of society served through the system or structure. So this embracing of change is, and understanding that change is the nature of life, is going to be a key quality in the systems and structures we create moving forward. There's also a focus on simplicity and streamlining, and there's this observation that often it is the most elegant and sophisticated solution that emerges from this simplicity, because again, it allows for freedom. There's this balance of the freedom for exploration and a focus on pretty simple understanding of mission and vision, and then the service itself that is provided. And so simplicity and streamlining being a focus, and yet an understanding that the solutions that emerge from this simple approach and simple focus, actually I would say, almost a single-minded focus, there are elegant and sophisticated solutions that emerge that not only support a sustenance for the people who are served by the system, but also energetically connects those individuals served and the system itself and the specific service providers who are a part of the larger system. All are reconnected to what matters most, to a full remembrance and the reclamation of the privilege and powerful responsibility of life. It's a reconnection to life. It's a reconnection to what matters most, what is essential. And that reconnection is the true gift. And so all of that springs forward from a focus on a very simple um, expression, a collective choice to focus on a single purpose, or vision, and that in and of itself, along with this spirit of play and the freedom to create, that leads to an amazing reconnection to the full experience of life. Passion, more probably than any of the other seven wonders of the soul, which are faith, hope, love, healing, growth, passion, and beauty. And passion is a representation of that fullness, that full experience of life. And we are here for the experience. And that is another thing that this particular C symbol speaks to me of, is that within our work, our service to society, within these systems and structures that we decide are important, there is a valuing of life itself, and that is elevated to a new level and of experiencing life for those who come into contact with the system in any way, whether you work within it, whether you are served by it, whether you are a collaborator with the system, whether you are moving in and out of the system because you have a point of contact, because maybe you are a service provider to the system, or you are an industry or another system that is a corollary, or offers a parallel complementary service. So anyway, all of that is suggested by this C symbol of the dancing star: the simplicity, the sophistication, the sustenance, the synergy. And that's where I want to return to that idea of synergy in the systems and structures we are invited to create in the future. There's a high level or high degree of trust in life and trust in the life of the system from all areas of that system. There's the awareness that the system itself is self-correcting, just as nature is, and that synergy and synergistic solutions are the natural result of nourishment to all areas of the system, and synergy is the natural result of the creation of an environment that supports a full flowering of the potential held within the system. Synergy is the natural result when people come together to bring a simple idea to life. And so this synergy, the simplicity, the sustenance, the sophistication, they all work together as one. And again, there's this idea that the end result, the whole, is greater than the sum of its parts. And so it's quite beautiful. And in this C symbol, the dancing star C symbol, does really have the air of sophistication, doesn't it? If you look at the patterns of potential that are coming out of that central connection point, they are so varied. And yet there is, when you look at this one, it really holds together so beautifully. So I hope you have enjoyed this. This was, just sort of my beginning ideas for systems and structures that we might create based on these symbols that I were given, these C symbols, soul essence art symbols that I was given, that pertain to the 7 years ahead, the 7 gates of transformation, and the 7 wonders of the soul, which includes the 7 wonders of our collective soul. And these 12 diamond dimensions, which are, these 7 gates, and then also the 5 wheels of wonder, which we discussed in the first 5 days, work together simultaneously. Those 5 wheels are always in motion throughout all time from here forward, as the way I was shown it. And they have been in the past, just in a different way, but they are now always ever in motion to support us in what we choose to create in the 7 years ahead. Everything I'm sharing about these last 7 is complete choice. We, as a common humanity, will make that choice within each and every system. We will make that choice, and each and every individual participant within the system will make that choice. And the result, what flowers forth, is going to be determined by all of those choices that are made at the individual and collective level. So consider, what you might do to tap into passion and to bring forth, as far as it is in your capacity to do so, to bring forth that sort of a realignment with the core value of passion in your own life, in your own life's work, in the work that you do day to day, in your role as a contributor to society, perhaps through one or more systems or structures. I'll see you tomorrow for the 12th of the 12 dimensions of change, and take care.